Welcome back everyone to my channel. Today I'm going to be replacing a fruit tree. It is a peach tree that has, well, it's half dead. There's only one branch that is starting to blossom a little bit, or the leaves are just starting to bud, put it that way. But the rest of it's dead, and it's got a disease along the trunk, and I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I'm going to pull that out and replace it with a mulberry tree. Now, I just got done replacing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees. I got 2 more to replace. I got an apricot tree that I don't believe is actually an apricot tree. It might have got mixed up in the nursery when I bought it. It never buds. It never blossoms, and it buds, but it doesn't blossom. It never produces fruit tree because it doesn't blossom. I've had that tree now 5, going on maybe 6 years, and it's produced nothing. Okay, I'm starting to think it's just a shade tree, but the leaves look identical to an apricot tree. But this year, if we don't get any blossoms out of that thing, I'm going to pull it out and replace it with a mulberry or with an actual apricot tree that we bought to go there. It's expensive, man. We've had 48 trees here in our orchard. We have a capacity of 50, but I got roughly 48. And I've replaced every tree at least twice, except for 3 trees. I have the original trees. I got 3 of them that survived. And it's a plum, it's a kefir pear, and another plum that have survived. I don't know what it is. I mean, every time we get these Arctic blasts that come down here, it kills a lot of our trees off, or either it rains like crazy in the spring and everything is just, waterlogged basically. I have an anise apple. The anise apples here I can't believe how well this tree works here. If you're in zone 8, or I would imagine even less, the anise apple is fantastic here. We are in early February here at the making of this video, and you can see it's already budding and putting out leaves, and actually you can see some blossoms in there. They're just starting to blossom. I also have here a peach tree. I don't remember the name of it. I think it's I'll put it right here. Okay. That one is blossoming now. It's early. Like I said, we're in early February. I wish I had another one of these trees that blossoms early at least, so they can pollinate together better. I can produce better fruit. But it's a self-pollinating tree and a fruit tree. And it produced extremely sweet peaches for us last year. Not a lot, just about 3 or 4 of them we got, but they were so incredibly sweet. I just wish we had more of those. But that's the whole thing. When you're gardening, when you're planting fruit trees, it is an ongoing learning experience. It's a learning curve, a huge one, expensive one. Let me tell you. Until you find out what grows well in your area, you're just going to keep replacing trees. It's just the way it is. So, what works well in my area are some variety of peaches, not all peaches, but the anise apple works great. The golden Dorset apple works great. Jujubes, those work fantastic here. Well, persimmons work great too for us. But for some reason, last year our 2 persimmons died. I'm not exactly sure why, but they both died at the same time. We're within months of each other, and unless it was some disease that I don't know about that got them, that's the only thing I can think of. Replacing trees is extremely expensive. You take this for instance here, this little persimmon tree, they're like $30, $40 for a little 3-4 footer. And I've replaced all of my trees except for 3 of them, at least twice. So you're looking at thousands of dollars of just replacing trees. And I never really had a large amount of fruit, So it's hard to justify. But I'll tell you what, when you do get a good fruit tree and you do eat out of those, they are so incredibly sweet and delicious. And it just makes you feel so good. Even though you spent an arm and a leg. Anyways, I got one more tree to replace here. Let's do that now. It's a peach tree, and I'm going to replace it with a mulberry. So let's do that next. So guys, this is a peach tree I was telling you about. It did produce quite a bit of peaches for us with 1 or 2 years in a row. But I had 4 of these and they just died. The rest of them just died because of that Arctic blast that we had a couple years ago. This one barely is surviving. This is dead, this is dead, this is dead, but this branch here is still alive, but it's already getting disease on it. You can see the trunk here, what the disease that it has on there. The trunk, the bark is peeling off, and this branch is doing the same thing, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And, oh, you know what? This might be very easy to pull out. It's very, you can see it's moving pretty good. So let me, well, I tell you what, let me dig some of this out so I can get the roots out of there too. So what I'm going to do is dig around, find where the roots are at, and see if I can just chop them off. So here I got some roots. Okay, got that one disconnected. Got another big one over here. Hit a rock. That's all. That's really good for the axe. And some more over here. I'm hoping just chop all the way around it, and I can just knock it over. It seems pretty loose already. Yeah, this one's gonna be an. Oop! Hit the camera. Oh yeah, I think we got it. Oh man, this has to be the easiest tree I've ever pulled. Well, almost. That's a good feeling. So like I said, all is dead except for this one branch. What are you going to do? That's just life. Okay, now I'm going to just amend this a little bit, and we're going to plant our mulberry in here. So this little guy here is the mulberry that I'm putting in there. This is just a twig, basically. And the one I replaced last year looked just like this, and look at it now. Looks gorgeous compared to this. This thing here is going to look like that next year, and or by the end of the summer anyways. So this again is a bare root when I bought it, and I've only had it, I put it in this pot just to keep it alive. I only put it in here maybe a few weeks, maybe, if that. So the roots are still alive, nice and moist. I have to amend this a little bit with a little bit of compost, and we're going to put this in the ground. So I am going to add, this is my own compost and some mushroom compost. Whenever you're planting trees, Depending how much rain you get during the year, you need to don't bury them too deep. This tree is not a grafted, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But whenever you're planting trees that are grafted, you have to make sure that the graft, where the grafted part connects to the roots of the scion, they call it, that's got to be above ground. Just make sure it's above the ground and not underground. Okay. I got more stuff to put in here. Okay, what I like doing, as I mentioned in just about every gardening video I do, is I use azomite. Azomite, it's got a lot of minerals that your plants need, fruits and vegetables. I just throw some of that in there, kind of mix it up a bit. That way your plants are getting the minerals they need if your soil doesn't have it. If you have a lot of compost that you're putting in your soil, like I do, it's almost a must, because compost doesn't have a whole lot of minerals in it, not like natural soil does, you know. So anyways, we're just going to make a little hole here. Now we'll see how much of this, I don't remember how much root there was here. Just be kind of careful with it. Yeah, it's good. This was freshly put in there, so I just pulled it out, but if it's been in there a while, you gotta break up the soil instead. It's got a really good root system. There's no graft here. So this, I would imagine they grow these from cuttings. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay, let's put it in. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks good. And any root that's long, try to get that down into the ground and buried deep, and that'll take off. Now let's do this. Okay. In other words, try to get the roots spread out best you can. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we're just going to cover it all up with your mixed soil and any soil that you've taken out of the ground here. Okay, now we're going to put the rest of this stuff, compost, all the way around it. You just want to create a little bowl around so it holds water when you water it. And until that root system gets going, you have to make sure the soil is always moist. Now, don't overwater it, but just make sure it's moist. Okay, I guess that'll work for now. I'm not going to put any support on this. It doesn't need to. It's too small, actually. But if it's a bigger tree, then yeah, you'd want to support it. Okay, I just got to water it. We're all set. So we just want to add a little water here because I notice the soil is moist. The stuff I put in there, the compost, is dry. we just want to keep the soil moist for the roots. I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so this is enough water. You know what I just noticed here? This is starting to sprout. Awesome. I just put it in just in time. So this tree is alive and well, and on its way to becoming much bigger this summer. You've seen how big that one is over there, and this one here, the same size. So this one will be about that size by the end of the summer. These grow very quickly, these mulberries. They're very fast growers. I haven't had a mulberry since I was a kid. Our neighbor behind us, there was a fence. He had a mulberry tree, and whenever the branches would come down, I used to be able to take them. My dad got a ladder once, and he was picking them. Later on, our neighbor got upset that we were picking his mulberries, and he cut all those branches down that were hanging over to our side of the property. What a jerk. Doesn't like to share. Oh well. So yeah, it's been that long since I've had mulberries. Long time. At least 50 years. Whew. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next one.